Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Canada. I hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. Students, right now we are doing an IELTS speaking part 2 class focusing on that perfect band 9 score. And the topic of this cue card, because part 2 is a little card that you see, or you're going to see a booklet with about 5-6 questions on it. And today's topic will be an object from a vacation. So again, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS training. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we've got lots and lots of information to help you improve your English and your communication. Our academic IELTS website looks like this. You can click this big red button that's just above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it doesn't cost a lot, and you can use it as much as you need to pass your IELTS exam. Use this discount code ULTIMATE9 for an additional 25% discount that you're going to see right there in the price at the top on the left. All right. For general IELTS, same idea. It's the green background at gieltshelp.com. And again, click this red button just above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. Yeah, use this code, ULTIMATE9. That's coming from one of our latest IELTS speaking videos. By the way, everyone, we did just release about an hour ago a new IELTS speaking video that's really cool. It's where you can do an IELTS speaking simulation. It's like a karaoke. You can use the subtitles. I mean, if you want, you can sing, but I don't recommend it for the IELTS. But definitely, jokes aside, use the subtitles so that you can get a feeling for the level of English and the fluency of English that is required for that band 9 in the IELTS exam. All right, welcome, Amu. Hi, Kiao. Good to have you on board. Nice to have members joining in. Everyone, this is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. If you'd like to join the chat in this class, you need to become a member of our channel. There are 4 different options for that. We will have an all chat class coming up in about 90 minutes. That will be speaking part 3. Welcome, Anish. Good to see you. Students, we have apps in your Apple or Google Play stores. You can download the app Academic IELTS Help or General IELTS Help. Those apps also power our website, so they connect, they link. You can check us out on Instagram, IELTS_AE Help for Academic IELTS and GIELTS Help. We keep the academic and general IELTS materials separate. They should be kept separate. It makes sense. So make sure you pay attention to which module you're doing. Speaking is the same for both academic and general, so this class works for both. If you have questions, you can always send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name. The email is right up there, so you can send me an email. Students, again, we don't have classes right now on Wednesdays. We're trying out this kind of new system. We have longer classes Thursdays to Saturdays, and we're bringing you more HD videos like that new speaking video, that IELTS simulation video. I highly recommend checking out that video. It's really cool. We think that it's a very powerful way to practice your speaking, especially when you don't have a speaking partner. So again, this will be our schedule for the next week from today until the 30th. Today we have speaking part 2 with some questions and answers from our members. So members, today you'll have a chance to ask me some questions too. I'm kind of just combining the Q&A session with the speaking part 2 class. And then we'll have speaking part 3 as well a little bit later in about 2 hours. Okay, and then next week, Thursday the 28th, speaking part 1, and then we'll have reading, listening, and speaking classes in the week. Let's take a look at today's IELTS speaking part 2 cue card. Okay, so here we go with today's IELTS speaking part 2. Okay. It's kind of the scarier part of the IELTS speaking section for a lot of students. Why is that, members? Why do you think a lot of candidates are a little bit worried about IELTS speaking part 2? What's the reason for that? And while you're giving me some answers in the chat, that's kind of what you can see beside me here, students, is the chat. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at this here. This is the chat, and I'm constantly looking at what our members are saying and commenting. So yeah, definitely answer my questions. Welcome, Rashika. Hi, Amu. Yeah, so people are nervous during speaking part 2, but the question here, of course, again, is why? So why are they nervous? Why do people get really nervous for speaking part 2? What's the reason for that? Ken says it's hard to guess what question will come up. It's basically impossible, Ken. You cannot guess, okay? So you cannot guess what the question will be. That's kind of like trying to play the lottery. It's 1 in a 10 million that you're going to be able to guess what the question will be. So don't even try, okay? Okay, Amu, very good. So Amu says it's maybe a lack of knowledge on the topic or lack of technique. Yeah, so lack of practice, so lack of ability to give a presentation on a random topic in English for 2 minutes. Okay, this is even challenging in a person's native language. So there's 2 important points here, everyone. Point number 1 is you have to have technique, okay? So there are 2 important points to keep in mind, okay? Number 1 is you have to practice part 2, even if you have good English. Before the exam, even if you have good English, okay? And number 2, you have to know it's the strategy. You have to have clear strategy, okay? And we're going to practice that today. So you're doing both. You're practicing and you are applying strategy, okay? All right, so this is the cue card. So the way this works is you go to your IELTS speaking and you answer some questions on a general topic, like talking about hobbies or sports or books. The examiner will ask you questions like, what is your favorite book? How often do you read books? When is the last time you read a book? What was the book? What was the story in the book? So they'll ask you a few questions like this, and then they will say, okay, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you some questions. Please do not touch the booklet. You will have 1 minute to read these questions, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. And then they show you the questions, and they'll read the topic of the question, and then they'll start your 1 minute preparation time. So they'll say something like, talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And then you have 1 minute to prepare, okay? And this is where strategy becomes super important. So you have to realize that, okay, I have to do step 1, step 2, step 3, quickly, effectively in the 1 minute, just like I practiced at home. And then I will do a great job in part 2. And I will also do a great job in part 3, because part 3 is going to be connected to part 2. Hi Cass, hi Pooja, good to see more people joining in. So the first step that you're going to take is you're going to read the question twice, okay? It's to make sure that you're 100% clear on all of the questions. The only way to get full marks for part 2 is to answer all the questions on the card. If you don't, then you cannot get full marks. So you have to answer all of the questions. So you really have to pay attention to the questions on the card, okay? So this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat, everyone. Okay, so speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. Okay, copy the intonation. All right. So talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. Again, talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. What is this object? When and where did you get it? Where do you keep it in your house and why? What memories and feelings does this object bring back from your vacation? Okay, so again, what is this object? When and where did you get it? Where do you keep it in your house and why? What memories and feelings does this object bring back from your vacation? So that's your step 1. You now know you're talking about an object you got on a vacation and you're answering these questions. And then step 2 is you identify the category and the tense of the discussion or the presentation. Because this is really not a discussion, it's a presentation. You're simply giving a 2-minute presentation. So in this case, what's the category? What are we looking at here? And there's basically 5 categories, okay? So keep this in mind, and each one has a unique kind of way to talk about it in a clear, structured way. So 5 categories, okay? You might talk about a person, you might talk about a place, an object, an event, or an idea, okay? And each of these has kind of a unique way to clearly talk about it. And Cass says, in this case, we're talking about an object. Thank you for passing by, Cass, and helping us out. Rashika says, we're talking about an object and we're talking about it in the past tense. Yeah. So here we're talking about an object in the past tense. Yeah, because it's an object that we got during a vacation, right? And when we talk about an object, there are certain steps, there are certain points that we have to focus on in order to get full marks, in order to speak clearly and in a structured way to the listener, right? So when you talk about an object, you want to discuss its appearance, okay? What does this object look like? Okay, let me picture it. It's physical, it's an object, I can touch it. Like if I'm talking about my coffee mug, got water in it. It's a white mug with a handle. It's cylindrical in shape. It's got our company IELTS logo on it that's off center. It contains approximately 300 milliliters of liquid, in this case water. So it's ceramic, okay, the material. So I basically discuss what it looks like so that you can picture it without me holding it in front of the camera, of course, right? Because it's very unlikely that you'll have that object with you at your IELTS exam. Okay, so you describe its appearance so your listener can see it. And then after you describe its appearance, or kind of simultaneously, you can describe its origin. So where does it come from? Where did you get it? Who gave it to you? Where did you buy it? What's its origin, right? This coffee mug was ordered online. There's a company, I forget the name of it, that creates merchandise for YouTube channels, and we use that to manufacture this coffee mug, and purchased it for about $5. And if you like it, you can buy the same off of our website. Okay. All right. So its appearance, the origin, its function. So how do you use it? What do you do with it? So this coffee mug, I fill it with cold or warm liquid. I use the handle to hold it, usually in my right hand, and then I drink from the rim of the cup. Okay, so that is the function. So how I use this coffee cup, okay? And then its importance, right? So why is it important for me? So this coffee mug is important because it's a representation of our company. We use it for advertising during our lessons. People can see that we are discussing IELTS topics by seeing the logo every time I take a sip of water. And of course, it helps me to stay hydrated, and it allows me to speak clearly because I avoid having a dry mouth from all the talking that I'm doing in these live classes. So what is the importance of this object to me? Okay, so this is talking about an object. Now, of course, this coffee mug, I talked about it in the present tense, but with an object from a vacation, you're going to be talking about it in the past tense, right? So in the past, because it's something that you got. So mostly in the past tense, right? So past, past continuous, past perfect, right? So appearance, origin, function, importance. Talk about those points, and you're definitely on your way to a nice high band score, okay? In that order. So appearance, firstly, number one, right? Because then we know what it is, what it looks like. Origin, where it comes from. Number two, how long you had it, basically. Three, function, the way that you use it. Even though that might seem kind of intrinsic, it's like, well, everybody knows how to use a coffee mug, but you never know, right? Like I actually use this coffee mug to water the plants in my office as well. So I fill it with tap water when I'm not drinking filtered water during the lessons, and once every week or so I pour some water on the Dieffenbachia plants that are in my office. So it's function, right? And then it's importance. So objects carry certain kinds of value to the user, and when you talk about that, then that becomes unique for the listener. They realize, oh, okay, that's unique for this person, right? And then past tense. So when we talk about past tense, we want to focus on using past perfect or past simple, past progressive, past perfect, present perfect, because we use present perfect to talk about the past. So all of those different tenses, okay? So you want to use all of those, all right? Okay, so you've realized that, all right, here I'm talking about an object. I need to include these elements, and this is all you can do. So like I say, you can't guess your exact questions on the IELTS exam. That's not possible, so don't even try. It won't work. Just focus on understanding how to talk about people, places, objects, events, ideas. Then when you get one of these, because it will be one of these, then you will know exactly how to talk about it, and it'll be very effective, okay? Welcome, Amrit. Okay, so in the next step, in step 3 is a really important one. What is it, members? So a lot of you are in this class regularly. What do we do in step 3? So step 3 is a very, very important step to success in speaking part 2 of the IELTS exam. What is it? So what is step 3? Okay, and Pooja, it kind of has something to do with what you said earlier, is one of the reasons part 2 is so scary. Cass says, construct your first sentence. I wouldn't do that yet, Cass. There's a very important step before you construct your first sentence. So step 1, you read the question a couple of times real quick. Step 2, you quickly thought about, okay, what this really is, right? Step 1, 2, and 3 happen very, very quickly. QR Lukeman, yeah, you have to be specific for part 2, for sure. And Anish, you're right. One of the reasons it's scary for people is because they need to speak for 2 minutes continuously, so it's not just short answers. Yeah, so Rashika says, think about 2 or 3 possible topics and pick the best one. Yeah, so think about 2 to 3 possible answers and pick the best one. Okay, so by best one, we want to pick an answer that is original, lots of content, and easy to talk about. Okay, so that's what we mean when we say pick the best one. So you have to think of a couple of objects. So what are some objects that you would buy on a vacation? Now, of course, we will choose kind of an imaginary object here just because we will all work with the same example. So give me some thoughts on what could be some objects that we get on a vacation. And tell me the vacation too, like where you got this object from, okay? So object, and then the place where you got it from. Anish, I'm literally explaining what to do in the 1 minute preparation time. So these steps that I'm showing you right now, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to see 4, 5 in a moment. This is what you need to do in the 1 minute, and I'll show you exactly about how much time or how many seconds you should spend on each one. Okay, so maybe you got a keychain with a picture of the Burj Khalifa on your trip to Dubai. Okay, for example. All right, so here you would just write down keychain. Okay, Amu says seashell. Let's say a conch. Okay, conch is, if you don't know what it is, it's that kind of beautiful big seashell. I think you even have a conch emoji that you can use. A conch from my visit to let's say Costa Rica. Okay, so a place where you've got a lot of ocean, right? So maybe you got a conch from your visit to Costa Rica. There we go. Cass found the conch. emoji. Nice, Cass. Thank you for that. So if you look at Cass's comment there, you can probably even see it when I bring it up here. You can see the little conch emojis. That is a conch indeed. Some people call it a conch, but I believe the right pronunciation is a conch. Okay, and that's kind of a fun one. Yeah. All right. Okay, a miniature statue of the Taj Mahal, says Anish. So a mini statue of the Taj Mahal on my visit to India. Sure. Why not? All right. So good. So you need to think of about 3 or 4. Don't overdo it, right? I would say maybe a sun hat on my visit to Hawaii. Okay. All right. So all of these are kind of good. I think that, all of these could be potentially a really good choice, but you really have to, at the end of the day, just choose one. So it could be a keychain with a picture of the Burj Khalifa on your trip to Dubai, a conch from your visit to Costa Rica, or a mini statue of the Taj Mahal on your visit to India, or a sun hat on your visit to Hawaii. Instead of a sun hat, let's make it a baseball hat. Okay. All right. Okay. So students, I think all of these are good. Now let's pick one. Okay. And I'm going to do a veto vote here. I'm going to go with a baseball hat on my visit to Hawaii. I think it's an easy one to talk about. Okay. We can have lots of information on it, even if it's just made up. So let's do a baseball hat on my visit to Hawaii. Okay. All right. So we've picked our best choice. Okay. And then now we need to take some notes. Okay. This is your step 4. Okay, and when you're taking notes, just do it in the order of talking about this object. So first it's appearance, okay? So what does this baseball hat look like, okay? Maybe it's white, one size fits all. It's got palm trees and sunset picture with the word Hawaii on it. Okay. All right. It's got a nice big visor. It's called a visor. That part of the baseball hat that's at the front there, that's called a visor. You'll see why that will become an important word here in a moment. Okay. All right. So that is the appearance of the hat. Now its origin. Okay, so you don't need to write down the word appearance or origin. Keep your notes as short as possible, okay, so that they're very useful. Cass has now included the emoji for the baseball hat or baseball cap. It's called also a baseball cap as well, okay? All right. So its origin. Obviously, it comes from Hawaii. There are lots of islands that make up Hawaii, 5 of them, I believe. There is the island of Hawaii, but maybe you got it on Maui. Okay, it's one of the other islands. So you got the baseball cap Maui. Okay, souvenir shop on the beach. Okay, maybe you spent $20 on it. Okay. And maybe it wasn't you that bought it, but it was your sister that got it for you. Okay. So I'm just making this up. All right. Again, the origin is important. Where does it come from? Okay. All right. Function. How do you use it? So how do you use a baseball cap, right? And again, that might seem pointless, but it isn't, okay? So put it on my head. And maybe sometimes you wear it backwards. Okay, or forwards. All right, and that's it, right? So there's not much to it, okay? Why is it important? Okay, protects me from the sun. Sure, protects from the sun, absolutely. Now, protecting from the sun, that's something that you might remember without writing it into your notes, but you might remember words like sunstroke or heat stroke. Okay, so if you get too much sun or if your head becomes too hot, you can get what's called sunstroke or heat stroke, and that's where you get really dizzy and then you pass out. And maybe you remember that, oh yeah, it protects my eyes. Okay, all right, also you might remember that it reminds you of your vacation. Okay, and your sister. Okay, and Anish says for fashion, it actually looks good. Okay, it's a nice article of clothing to wear in the summer. Absolutely, Anish. Don't forget about the easy thoughts, right? Okay, and yeah, it's a discussion piece. So when you wear it and people say, hey, I see your hat, have you been to Hawaii? Then you can say, yeah, I went there a few years ago and had a lot of fun. So it's a conversation piece, discussion piece. A better word is conversation piece. Okay, so ideally when you practice, when you stay calm, when you're confident during your IELTS exam, you can come up with a lot of these notes very quickly, okay? And you keep them simple. So you keep it really simple, all right? Okay, now step 5 is think of your first sentence, okay, and answer the topic of the cue card directly. Okay, so no saying there are a lot of objects that I got on vacations, but the one I want to talk about today is blah, blah, blah. No saying that kind of sentence, because that kind of a sentence is not good. Okay, so don't do that. All right, answer the question directly. All right, so look at the topic question. So talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation, and then answer that very clearly, okay? And if you can, paraphrase it. When you paraphrase that first sentence, that's a really great way to start your response to get a high band score. So talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation, okay? So here, I'll give you my first sentence. Give me a sentence using this baseball hat or baseball cap from Maui, okay? So here we go. I'm going to give the first sentence. You give the first sentence, and then we'll compare, okay? So All right. So there's my first sentence. Okay. Yeah, so Anish, if you don't go on lots of vacations, then just make it up. Okay, you cannot. So Anish is asking, like, what if I'm one of those people that's never gone on a vacation, has never bought a souvenir? You have to make it up. That's the only answer there. Okay, it's hard to convince the examiner that you've never visited another city, another town, and bought at least one little trinket or article of clothing or some kind of a souvenir. So you have to make it up. You cannot say, I've never been on a vacation, I don't have any souvenirs. If you do that, you'll get a low mark. And you can't ask for a different question. So you can't say, oh, I've never been on any vacations, can you ask me another question? They won't. They'll just say, no, that's the card. And they might even say, make it up. Okay, if you say something like that. So you have to be able to answer it. And if you don't have the experience, then just make it up. All right, Cass. So present perfect, not past perfect. Cass says the object that I'd always treasure was a baseball cap, which I was given to me by my sister in Maui, Hawaii, last 2018. Cass, watch the grammar, a little bit simpler, okay, and present perfect. All right. I have a baseball cap that was given to me by my sister in Maui, Hawaii in 2018, which helps me to remember that trip. Cass, again, remember, you have to use the main elements of the question. So here, it reminds you of a vacation. You have to include reminds me of the vacation in your first sentence. Anish, if you're visiting Christian churches, then yeah, if you bought a religious item like prayer beads or a crucifix at one of those churches, or maybe a card, a postcard that helps you to remember or reminds you of that visit, then you can talk about that. Absolutely. Okay. Ken says, well, the object that comes to mind is my baseball cap my wife bought me at a souvenir shop in Maui, Hawaii during our summer vacation last year. Yeah, that works, Ken. Very good. And even if it's not true, because we had COVID, right? So people weren't traveling so much. Yeah, sure. It doesn't have to be the truth. Okay. All right, so now all you have to do is basically put together all of this preparation that you did. So this was Anisha's question, like, what do I do in my 1 minute preparation time, right? So 1 minute preparation time. 1 minute preparation time. Okay. Basically, this is what you do. Okay, so, and this is how you do it. And this is what I mean by stick to strategy. So you have 1 minute to prepare. So step one, you read the question twice, nice and fast. Of course, not allowed. So talk about an object, reminds you of a vacation. Talk about an object, reminds me of a vacation. Okay, what is the object? What is it? When and where did you get it? When and where did I get it? Where do I keep it in my house? What memories and feelings does this object bring back? What does it bring back? Okay. All right. Good. So read it twice. Now, it's an object. I need to talk about its appearance, origin, function, and its importance. It's going to be in the past tense, so past perfect. All right. So what kind of objects? Well, I've got a keychain in the past. I've gotten socks. I got an umbrella one time in New York. And oh yeah, I got my baseball cap in Hawaii. All right, I'm gonna go with the baseball cap. Now I'm gonna quickly write down some notes, appearance, what it looks like. So I write down my notes. Here are my notes. So I'm showing you this 1 minute, okay? And then my first sentence. Okay, so the object that helps to remind me of my vacation to Maui, Hawaii that I took 5 years ago with my family is a baseball cap that my sister got me. All right, so I put it all together in that 1 minute time. Now, of course, when we're doing this in our head, this is happening nice and fast. Okay, when you practice this, it's happening nice and fast. Okay. Welcome to our group of members, Mad Lab. Quite the handle, the Mad Lab. All right. Make sure to send me an email, Mad Lab, so I can hook you up with those videos and practice exams. Okay. All right. So once I have all of this, the examiner will say, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And then when you start speaking, you're basically just putting together in order appearance, origin, function, importance, and then you look at the cue card and make sure that you're answering all of these questions on the cue card and not missing any of those questions. And you want to do that in the first 90 seconds. Okay. So using our notes here, students, give me some sentences. So it's a white baseball cap, one size fits all. It's got some palm trees and a picture of a sunset on the front with the words Hawaii. It's got a nice big visor. Okay. So here we go. The examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. I've got a baseball cap on my trip to Maui, Hawaii 5 years ago, and it definitely helps me to remember all of the good times I had on that trip. This is a one size fits all cap with an adjustable Velcro strap on the back. It is mostly white. Now notice this is present tense because I still have this baseball cap, right? So here we're using present tense. It is mostly white with a picture of the sun setting over the ocean and some palm trees with the word Hawaii on the front above the visor. Okay, so I've just described what this baseball cap looks like. It makes a lot of sense for this question to explain to the examiner what this looks like. Okay, so as I'm writing this and as I'm saying this, students, make sure you repeat after me. If you come across some new words like, for example, Velcro or Velcro strap, make sure you write that down. Velcro is the... I hope you got that from the sound effect that I just made, okay? So you find it on kids' shoes as well, backpacks. Velcro is great. I think the reason why we write it with a capital V is because the guy who invented it, his name is Mr. Velcro. Yeah, Velcro strap, okay? So if you see new words, write it down while we're doing this speaking, okay? All right. Mad Lab, I see your question while you're catching up with me and thinking about what to say. Mad Lab is asking, my current band score is 6.5 and my desired band score is 7.5 to 8. How can I improve my band score? My exam will be on the 28th of May. Mad Lab, my biggest tip, because you have about one month, focus on some vocabulary and grammar, but really focus on good, clear, accurate communication. So focus your studies on speaking clearly and accurately and precisely. So just like what we're doing in this class, you'll see is we're focusing on coming up with a very precise, clear answer to this cue card, and that's how you're able to achieve that band 7.5 to 8. Okay, Rashika says, I bought this cap in Maui, Hawaii after bargaining for a reasonable price of $20 at a souvenir shop on the beach. Okay, remember my sister got it for me, Rashika. The reason I'm saying my sister got it for me is because it gives me more information to talk about of how it helps to remind me of this trip. Okay, all right, Rashika. So, in fact, my sister got it for me while we were strolling along the beach from a souvenir shop for around $20. $20 because I had been complaining to her about the sun hurting my eyes. Okay, so I visualized myself walking down the beach with my sister. I don't actually have a sister, I have two brothers, but we're just making this up, right? So and I'm like, oh, my eyes are hurting. The sun is so strong. And then my sister, my imaginary sister, says, oh, just a second, I'll get you something. And then she goes and buys this baseball cap, and here you go. And that'll protect you from the sun. Okay. So now, whenever it is sunny out, I wear this cap to protect my eyes and also save me from heat or sunstroke. Indeed, this was really useful for me during our 2-week vacation, as it was always sunny and hot, and we had spent much time on the beach. So, of course, whenever I wear this cap, it reminds me of all the fun times I had playing games and relaxing on the white sand in Maui with my family. Okay. All right. So remember the question always throughout your answer. The question is asking you, it reminds you of your vacation. So what are the memories of your vacation? I've never been to Maui either, by the way, students. So, just in case some of you are thinking, well, maybe this is easy for Adrian because he's been to Maui. I haven't. I've never been to Maui. In fact, I don't even know if the sand is white in Maui. I'm just making that up. I have been to Kauai, but Kauai is quite different from Maui. But I have been to Kauai in 2014, so to be fair, right? But it could be any beach. Like if you're in India, you could be just thinking of Goa, right? If you've ever visited Goa, Anish, could be the same idea. You bought a baseball cap in Goa. Baseball caps are usually souvenirs found all over the place, right? So it's one that you could really adapt, okay? All right. So don't forget the importance, right? So we're already talking about the importance. So this cap is not only special for me because of the memories that it brings back from beautiful Hawaii, but it also reminds me of my sister's love and care. Okay. All right. Kira Lookman's asking, can I say that she went and bought me this cap as I'm talking about something in the past? Yeah, you can say that. She went and bought me this cap. Absolutely. Yeah, you could say that. Okay, in the beginning. You're very welcome, Mad Lab. Okay, now we're doing a good job here, and we're definitely well into our 1 to 2 minutes of speaking. So we're at about 60 seconds, and at this time in your speaking, it's really important to check the cue card. Check the cue card. Okay, make sure that you answer all of the questions on the card in the first 90 seconds. Okay. Then if you have more time, you can expand. You can talk a bit more about it. All right. So if we go back to this cue card, again, the cue card says, talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. Okay. What is the object? When and where did you get it? Where do you keep it in your house and why? Okay, we haven't really talked too much about that. What memories and feelings does this object bring back from your vacation? We have talked about that, but we can maybe talk a bit more about that, especially the feelings, okay? Before we do that, let's talk about where we keep it in our house and why, okay? So, I keep my Hawaii baseball cap either in my closet or on top of my dresser. In this way, I always know where it is. So I can just grab it while rushing out of the house. And of course, it stays in good condition. All right, so now I've answered that question of where I keep it. And of course, I'm always thinking of reasons, like why do I keep it there? I keep it there so I can just quickly grab it and I always know where it is. And so it stays nice and clean and doesn't lose its shape, right? I don't sit on it, so I don't put it on the chair, for example, okay? All right, and then maybe a little bit more now about the memories and about the feelings, okay? So, often when I wear this cap, I feel really relaxed because I remember all of the calm and peaceful hours that I had spent sitting in a sun chair wearing the cap and looking out over the ocean on the trip back in 2016. Okay. All right. So you might have more time. You might not. The examiner at this point might say, okay, your 2 minutes is up. I will now take back the questions and we will continue with part 3. So here, students, let's take a look at this again and we'll go through the key points and then you'll have a chance to practice, okay? So this is cue card part 2, the long part in the IELTS. You have to prepare, you have to practice, even if you have good English, okay? Because it's a 2-minute surprise presentation on a topic that you are not expecting. So, talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. What is this object? When and where did you get it? Where do you keep it in your house and why? What memories and feelings does this object bring back from your vacation? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare. We did all our preparation. We decided to talk about a baseball hat or a baseball cap that we got on our visit to Hawaii. Okay, here we go, everybody. Make sure to speak and repeat, okay? So I got a baseball cap on my trip to Maui, Hawaii 5 years ago, and it definitely helps me to remember all of the good times I had on that trip. This is a one-size-fits-all cap with an adjustable Velcro strap on the back. It's mostly white with a picture of the sun setting over the ocean and some palm trees with the word Hawaii on the front above the visor. In fact, my sister got it for me while we were strolling along the beach from a souvenir shop for around $20 because I had been complaining to her about the sun hurting my eyes. Now, whenever it is sunny out, I wear this cap to protect my eyes and also save me from heat or sunstroke. Indeed, this was really useful for me during our 2-week vacation, as it was always sunny and hot and we had spent much time on the beach. So, of course, whenever I wear this cap, it reminds me of all the fun times I had playing games and relaxing on the white sand in Maui with my family. This cap is not only special for me because of the memories that it brings back from beautiful Hawaii, but it also reminds me of my sister's love and care for me. I keep my Hawaii baseball cap either in my closet or on top of my dresser. In this way, I always know where it is, so I can just grab it while rushing out of the house. And of course, it stays in good condition. Often when I wear this cap, I feel really relaxed because I remember all of the calm and peaceful hours that I had spent sitting in a sun chair wearing the cap looking out over the ocean on this trip back in 2016. Okay. QR Lukeman, thanks for that feedback. That's great. I'm really glad you're finding the strategy useful. Okay, make sure to practice it too. All right. Okay. All right. Rashika says, I keep it on my clothes because it is easy to find whenever I need it. What do you mean on my clothes? That doesn't make sense to me, Rashika. Think about what you're saying there. I feel proud when I wear it because I had a few compliments from my friends. Okay, yeah, so you remember then that conversation piece, if you can still keep talking. Students, I want you to try this part 2 cue card. So talk about an object that you got from a vacation, and you can volunteer for speaking. I will listen to your answer, and then I will give you feedback. So go to the website, aehelp.com, create a student account, click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, make sure to check that your microphone and speaker are working on the in your browser on the website, and then send me a message and say, hey, I want to volunteer. Message me, you'll see me as master. Okay, so let's do this, everyone, and you will have a chance to also ask me some questions. Remember that I said we'll do some Q&A in this class, so you can ask me questions about the IELTS, or studying abroad, or immigration, or even about grammar, and I will do my best to give you clear answers, okay? So go to the website, aehelp.com. It's this website here, okay? Click on the green button to join for free. Click on the red button to get all of our materials, the premium package, okay? And then, so if you click try demo, I'm already logged in. So then you go to your My Student account. Okay. And then in your My Student account, you have this Student Partner Speaking. It's right there, right above my head. Okay. You click on that Student Partner Speaking. And then you click I accept, start speaking. That just means that you accept that you will be polite and you are responsible for what you say. And then you get into this interface here, this speaking interface, and we have Amu and Rashadul and Anish in here right now. And then you just send me a message, and I can see that Amu, one of our members, and members, this is for you first of all, because it's a members chat class, okay? So yeah, of course, Amu, you can try. Are you ready? Okay, and I can see that Rashadul is in here. Med Trappa, I see you over there, and the general IELTS as well. Good afternoon to you in Qatar. So go onto the website, go to your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking, and then send me a message and we can connect and you can try this part 2. Okay, so Amu, if you're ready, you can give it a try. The trick here, build confidence. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about getting stuck. Don't worry about not making any sense. It doesn't matter. This is for practice. This is not your official IELTS, okay? So it's really useful.
Hello.
Hi, Amu. How are you?
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You're great. Yep, loud and clear.
How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
nice, fresh, crisp Saturday morning here in Victoria. All right, Amu, let's do this. So I'm going to read the cue card and then start you off, okay? And just give me a nice answer to the best of your ability. I'll take some notes and then I'll give you some feedback, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. What is this object? When and where did you get it? Where do you keep it in your house and why? What memories and feelings does this object bring back from your vacation? Now, Amu, if you want, you can talk about a baseball cap. So you can use kind of the same idea. Or if you want, you can come up with a completely different idea as well. It's up to you. So I will start you off. Here we go. Talk about an object that reminds you of vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Yeah. A souvenir that restores many memories for me is my trip to Chennai along with my friends during the year 2020. Is a large 70 centimeters tall and beautiful idol of Lord Radhakrishna, which I had bought at the end of my journey. The statue was made up of white marbles, beautifully painted with a combination of 3 different colors red, yellow, and green. The beautiful Krishna idol has Radha towards his left and a flute in his hand, crossed legs, and decorated with the ornaments throughout the body. In fact, at the bottom of the deities, sorry, at the bottom of the deities, there was a lotus pond beautifully decorated with the different flowers, which adds even more beauty to the statue. I had purchased this idol in the month of August on 22nd, just before the end of my journey, from the famous Hare Krishna Sanctorium. Actually, there are various forms of statues which were very attractive, and the most delighted move of the Sanctorium is that they donate 25% of their income to the old age home, which is located nearby their organization, which made me to purchase this item. My mom always wished to have a statue placed in the northeast corner of the home, as this Radha Krishna idol brings lot of positive vibes to the home. In Hindus, it is always considered that Radha Krishnas are the incarnations of Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi. Whenever I am facing any tough situations in my life, I just sit in front of the deities and do meditation for few minutes, followed
Okay,
by I
I'm going to
feel
stop you there. Your 2 minutes is up. And I will now ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. Amu, that was really good. That was really, really good. I'm very, very impressed. Okay. Just a couple of small critiques, but overall that was really good. So Amu, I would say that would be 7.5. I would comfortably give you a 7.5 for that. So it's between a good and a very good for sure. So when we think about 7 to 8, 7.5, that means between good and very good. First of all, wonderful structure. So you did a really good job of giving me lots of content, and that's what students or candidates have to do for those high band scores is the 2-minute response has to be content rich. So one of the most common mistakes in part 2 is that candidates just kind of repeat the same idea. Like they'll say, I got a statue of Krishna and I got the statue 4 years ago, and when I bought the statue I was really excited, and it reminds me of the time that I got this, and then they just kind of repeat and repeat, and there's not a lot of content. But in your case it was really content rich because you stuck to strategy. So first of all, you told me that you got the statue, then you told me it's made of marble, it's painted. You did a really good job describing what it looks like, how big it is. You even gave me the dimensions, the size of it. You said, I think, 70 centimeters tall. So that was really nice. You explained to me the position of the statue, of how the statue is sitting with the lotus pond, the colors, the material, the marble. So that was really great that I could picture this statue. So that was good. And then you went on about where you keep it in the house. So you answered all the questions on the card. That was very smart as well. So those were all really good points. The one part that was a little bit missing for me, where did you get the statue again? What was the place? I thought you said Shanghai.
No, Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it, so even spelling it for me is...
Yeah.
Can you spell it for me?
CHENNN AI.
AI. Tenhai. Okay.
Yeah. Chennai.
Yeah. So anytime that you introduce a word, especially if it's a foreign word, to the examiner, really pronounce it. So you want to really announce that word. So because they're going to be like me, they're going to be like, huh, what is this? What place is this? If they're not familiar with it. And then you want to repeat it. So you want to say my trip to Chennai. And when I was in Chennai, I got this at a souvenir shop next to one of the temples, and it helps to remind me of Chennai. So one part that I felt was a little bit missing is the memories that it brings back from your trip. So you talked about the statue, you talked about its symbolism, you talked about where you keep it in the house, but you didn't really talk too much about what the memory is that it reminds you of on your trip. So it reminds me of this big, beautiful temple that I visited, which had similar kinds of statues, right? So that was the only missing part, but overall it was really good. The other part, Amu, to improve is your enunciation. So your speech was very rhythmic, like it was like, it is made of marble painted with red and green and blue, and has a lotus pond on it, and it's kind of like almost kind of robotic. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
yes, I understand.
That's not necessarily bad, but if you want to get an even higher score for that pronunciation, then you want to enunciate a little bit more, like a da, 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 like a little bit more melodic up and down, emphasizing certain key words and points, and then it will be easier to understand as well. Do you know what I mean by this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so practice that. When you watch this video again, maybe this part in this lesson, then think, okay, that's a great answer. I'm going to try this again, but with a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more melody. Native English is very melodic. So, okay, Amu, so good job. Keep up the practice. Beautiful structure. Like I say, I think that was a very solid answer. Amu, do you have any questions about IELTS speaking or about any other parts of the IELTS exam? Because I said to everyone that I'll give a chance for questions and answers as well. So do you have any questions that you have thought of while you've been studying that you're concerned about or that you want to know the answer to?
Right now, no. But initially I had, but I'm following your classes from past 4-5 months. So I think all of my doubts are clarified.
Okay, good. I can tell. Like when you answered this part too, it seems like you really have a clear idea of what you need to do. for part 2, which is great. So good.
Yeah.
If questions do come up anytime, you can always just send me an
Yeah,
email
definitely.
too. Okay, Amu?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Amu, thank you so much for volunteering. I appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of your weekend.
Thank you, sir. Happy weekend.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, that was Amu. You can give Amu a thumbs up. That was really good. Mad Lab says Chennai with the CH, Chennai. Okay, thank you, Mad Lab, for making that clear. All right, Amrit, I can see that you're volunteering. Hi, Amrit. Are you ready? Would you like to try this? Would you like to try this cue card? All right. I can see that Amrita is ready. Here we go. Hi,
Hello.
Amrit.
Hi, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. What about you?
Pretty good, thanks. Any plans for the weekend?
Yes, I visit a Golden Temple, which is quite a popular place in Mumbai city.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Amrit, let's do this. So, I'll go back to the question, talking about an object that reminds you of a vacation. And we practiced talking about a baseball cap from Hawaii. You can kind of choose the same if you want, or you can go with something completely different, like Amu just did with a marble statue from Chennai. So up to
Okay, sir.
you. If you have something real, like if you went on a trip in the last couple of months or in the last year and you have an object that you know would work great for this, you can always try that, okay? All right. So here we go. Amrit, I'll start you off and then start right away, okay? So talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
I got sunglasses on my trip to Golden Temple, which is quite popular place in Amritsar city, and it definitely helps me to remember all of my good memories I had on that trip. The size of the sunglasses is medium, which was suitable for my face, and the color of the glasses is black. The cost of these glasses is around 1,000 million rupees. In fact, my sister bought it for me from the shops on the Golden Temple Street. The big reason about these glasses because sun haunting my eyes a lot in sunny days. And then nowadays, whenever it is sunny out, I wear these glasses to protect my eyes, and even it was very useful for me uh, in in summers. And these sunglasses is not only special for me because of the memories that it brings back from beautiful view of Golden Temple, but it also my sister's love, and and so I can just grab it while when I was hurry to go outside, and of course it stays in good conditions. Whenever I wear these sunglasses, I feel more relaxed and comfortable with the protecting from rays in a summer days.
Okay, your 2 minutes is up. I'll stop you there. And now I will ask you a question or two related to your response and some questions connected to the topic. All right, that was really good. Okay, that was good too. So I'm really happy to hear that our members are picking up and implementing the concepts of structure. So having good structure,
Yes, sir.
okay? And that was
Yes,
really
sir.
good.
Yes, sir. I copy your some like sentences. Yeah.
And that's totally fine. So you went with sunglasses, which is kind of similar to a baseball cap. Sunglasses are great. It's a very common type of souvenir that we buy on trips when we're traveling, especially to sunny vacation spots around the world. So I thought sunglasses was a great idea. The statue was a great idea by Amu. The sunglasses are a great idea as well. Reminds you of your trip to the Golden Temple. It brings back lots of good memories. I would say that you would get about a 6.5 for that. Okay, Amrit? Your fluency is great. Your fluency is like a band 8. Your pronunciation is about a band 6 to 7. Sometimes I have a little bit of a tough time understanding some words just because you're very crisp, like you're kind of rup, 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 and it's making it a little bit difficult for me. So try to smooth your pronunciation a bit. Try to soften the R sounds. Your grammatical range is, I would say, 7, and your grammatical accuracy is 5 to 6. You make some awkward grammar mistakes that are a little bit strange, and then your lexical resource is about a 6 to 7. So that's why you end up with that 6.5. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what you want to do, Amrit, is you want to always record your responses and then listen to it and transcribe it, write it down, and see where you're making grammar mistakes. Like, where is it awkward? Okay. So
Okay, sir.
pay attention to those. If you listen back to this response, you'll catch, okay, there's a couple of weird grammar mistakes there. Okay, but overall that was quite good. It's still very solid. So 6.5 is a good score. Amrit, do you have any questions about the IELTS exam or the speaking section for me?
Speaking. Yes, sir. Sometimes it's very difficult to get some ideas, and the speak continues within 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So I actually noticed that there was one spot where you got a little bit stuck in this 2 minutes as well. Don't forget to look at the card. Okay, so I think you answered it after, but as soon as you get stuck, as soon as you don't know what to say, look at the card, because there was this question of where do you keep it in your house and why? Like, where do you keep your sunglasses in your house and why? And I think you could have looked at that question and then stayed more fluent. So so make sure to pay attention to the cue card. Now, when you are thinking about ideas in the 1 minute, really keep it simple and try to remember the most common answers that people have. Like, when people go traveling, what do they usually buy? They buy sunglasses, they buy baseball caps, they buy little statues, they buy keychains. What else do they buy? So what are some other objects that people often buy when they're traveling somewhere, besides the ones I just
Like
mentioned?
like statues.
What else, though? We already said statues. We already said baseball cap, sunglasses. Just think about it. Think about movies. Think about your friends, your family, or yourself when you go on a vacation. What else do you bring home in your suitcase or your backpack that didn't actually go
Like
with you?
like religious objects related to religious.
Even simpler. So this is I know, and this, Amrit, this is what a lot of people have trouble with. They just can't think of the simple ideas, and then when you say it, they're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like t-shirts, for example. Sometimes when I go travel somewhere, I'll buy a t-shirt, right?
Like watches.
A watch. Yeah, a watch is a good one too. People will often buy a watch or a t-shirt on their trips. Absolutely. Okay. So practice simple thoughts. Okay, Amrit, have an awesome rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for volunteering. I'll try to give one more person a chance to connect here, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for picking me.
All right, absolutely.
Bye,
Amrit.
sir.
Bye. All right, give Amrit a thumbs up, everybody. That was really good. So talking about sunglasses was a great idea, Amrit, by the way. Sunglasses was a great idea. Okay, so we've got some more people in here now. We've got Russia Duel. Russia Duel has been trying to volunteer, so yes, you can. Are you ready, Russia Duel? Okay, some great volunteering, by the way. So Amrit, really nice responses, and I love the fluency. So I think both of you had not a lot of problems speaking for the 2 minutes on different kinds of information. Okay, Russia Duel. Hi, Russia Duel.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Where are you, Russia Duel? right now?
I'm from Bangladesh.
From Bangladesh. All right. Well, I hope you're having a good evening there. It's getting late for you. Okay, Rashidul, let's take a look at this question, and then just like Amu and Amrit did, give me a nice full sentence answer. So I will start you off, and then in the real IELTS, you definitely want to start as quickly as possible after the examiner tells you that your time is up. So here we go. Talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Well, I like to go on vacation from time to time. During the course of my life, I have been to many vacations. However, now I would like to talk about a vacation that I have been in my last winter vacation. During that time, I bought a painting, and now I'd like to talk about that. Uh, at first, I didn't have any plan to go there. I visited Cox's Bazaar, which is one of the most famous tourist attraction there. And one of my friend visited there, and he suggested me he told me all the fascinating stories about the place. And I have to admit, his stories really got me. And one day when we were walking on the beach, I saw this guy who was painting, and I have to admit, his paintings were one of the hands down the best paintings that I have ever seen till now. But the one that caught my attention most was this picture with a man in his home, and there was storm outside, and everything was falling apart. At first glance, I couldn't understand, so I asked him, and he explained it that the motive of this picture is even though everything is falling apart, the man is happy because real happiness relies within you. So I was
Okay,
really inspired
your
by the
2 minute time is up. I will stop you there, and now we will continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. Okay, that was good. That was good. You made some classic mistakes, but that's fine. That's what I'm here to help you with. Here's some really important information about the IELTS exam. So for the cue card, you have 2 minutes to speak, okay? And the examiner has to stop you at 2 minutes. In some very rare cases, if you're very fluent, they might allow you to speak a little bit more, like an extra 10-15 seconds, but they're quite strict on stopping you at the 2 minutes. That's because they also get supervised. So if I'm your IELTS examiner and I keep letting people talk for 3 minutes or 4 minutes for part 2, then if my supervisor checks the recording, which they do, and they find that I've been letting candidates speak for more than 2 minutes, they send me back to training and I lose money. So they don't let you speak for more than 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes maximum. And because they only let you speak for 2 minutes, it's really important that you answer the questions on the card and you stay focused on the topic, okay? So your answer would get maybe a 5.5, maybe a 6, but they would probably give you a 5.5. Even though you're fluent and your fluency score would be good, you would get a low mark for your coherence because you're not answering the question directly enough, okay? So you're using some strategies that I've seen online, but they're not effective strategies. And I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? So here, you need to talk about an object that reminds you of a vacation, okay? And you talked about the painting, but from the 2 minutes, you only spent about 20 seconds talking about the painting. The other 1 minute 40 seconds, a lot of time was wasted, okay? So you started by saying that, well, I like to go on vacations from time to time. this question doesn't ask you about that. So it doesn't ask you about when you like to go on vacations or how many vacations you go on. It's asking you about an object that reminds you of one vacation. Okay, so you have to start by I bought a painting on a vacation 2 years ago when I visited this place. You have to be a lot more direct. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you said during the course of my life. If you say that kind of a sentence in the real exam, like during the course of my life, I've been on many vacations, the examiner will start thinking, I'm going to stop this guy at 1 minute. Because they're in their head, now they're suddenly thinking, this person isn't talking about the cue card. They're just talking about filling space. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't use this strategy. If somebody told you this strategy, or if you saw somebody on the internet, they're not telling you the truth. They haven't sat the IELTS exam. They haven't paid attention to how it works. It doesn't work that way. You have to answer the question directly. Okay, so next time when you answer this question, you want to say, I got a painting while I was strolling on the beach. Sorry, where was this vacation? So I wasn't clear about that. Where?
It was Cox's Bazaar.
Costas Bazaar. And what's the location?
I mean, it's here in Bangladesh.
Okay. All right. So it's in Bangladesh. Okay. I'm not familiar with it. But anyway, that's what you want to clarify. So you want to clarify for me what it reminds you of this specific place, right? And then you want to say that it reminds me of the culture, right? Because I guess that it kind of reminds you of the culture of that place and the people that live there. And that's what you want to focus on. Where do you keep this painting in your house?
Well, I hang it on the wall of my room.
In your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, now that was a question on the card, right? And the reason why you weren't able to answer that question is because you ran out of time, because you were talking about more general ideas instead of talking more specific ideas. So if you don't do this next time, if you don't talk generally, if you talk more specifically and you focus on the card, you'll get a 6.5 instead of a 5.5. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So just a very quick and easy way to improve your speaking section band score. Don't talk generally when you're talking about the cue card. Be specific about the cue card. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. But I commend you for your effort and for volunteering. Don't be shy or don't worry about, making mistakes, because so many students do what you just did. Like, so many students say, well, there are lots of objects that I've got from many vacations. Like, I've got keychains, shoes, baseball caps. But the object that I'd like to talk about today, and it's like, whoa, did you just really use 30 seconds to finally tell me the object that you want to talk about? You can't do that. You have to start with the object, right? So you have to say, I got a baseball cap on my trip to Hawaii last year. Okay, you just told me the object in the first 10 seconds. Great, right? So that's how you have to do it, okay?
So I have to be more specific.
You absolutely. So specific, detailed answers get high band scores. Yes, definitely.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
I'll definitely keep in mind.
Awesome. Okay, Rashidul, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend in Bangladesh. Thank you so much for volunteering in this class. And in 30 minutes, we've got another class coming up. It's going to be speaking part 3, where we're going to talk about this idea, souvenirs, more and some more questions. So make sure you come back, okay?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your advice.
You're very welcome. Bye, Rashidul. All right, that was Rashidul. Everybody give Rashidul a thumbs up. Amrit, you are very welcome. Thank you for your super chat donation. I can see that we've got some more volunteers in the class. Come back in 30 minutes, students. We'll have an all chat class where everybody will be able to tackle topics about souvenirs and objects from vacation. So don't forget what we did in this class, because it will be useful for the next class. Okay, make sure to visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for the general IELTS on both of those websites. We've got lots of tools to help you improve. We just used one of those, the speaking chat interface. So definitely use the websites every day. And I promise that you will get better band scores when you do that. And you don't have to sit and pay another $300 for that very expensive IELTS exam as well. So come back in 30 minutes. We'll do speaking part 3 together. We'll practice more. We'll learn more strategies. We'll learn more English. And we'll have a great time. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria momentarily, but I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.